Now at 5:30, I'm Hannah Reynolds, and I'm here in London talking to construction workers about how they're pushing through the cold temperatures. I'll have more on that coming up.
MLK Day in Washington marred by the government shutdown. We speak to visitors trying to pay their respects amid political chaos.
Rain chances followed by snow chances. Those details now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. While many of you, like me, probably stayed out of the cold today, construction crews say they have to work no matter what to finish their jobs in time. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to crews at Elk Run Estates in London.
While many escaped the harsh cold, construction crews in London were hard at work.
Our electric bills and stuff goes on at our home, so we have to work.
The owner of Elk Run Estate says it takes 2 to 3 months at a time to build each house for their new subdivision, so construction crews work year-round, even when the weather is below freezing.
Ain't nothing good about it, but we still have to do it. We burn the scrap up for to stay warm. Most of the time we just wear our gloves and stay warm.
The crews try to get out of the cold during the morning hours by working inside, but most of their time is spent outdoors.
I don't get a whole lot of inside work, but most of the time I'm outside, but we appreciate it every time we get an inside job in the wintertime. It's hard on you when it's cold outside. We still do it though.
As they feverishly work to finish the job through the bitter cold of winter. In Laurel County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, those temperatures are going to drop again later on this evening. We'll have more on that in just a minute with Andrew. We also have a few school closings and delays for tomorrow that you can see at the bottom of your screen and on WYMT.com. The cold weather this morning caused problems for firefighters battling a house fire in Boyle County. The fire started at a home on White Oak Road in Junction City. Those firefighters had to shuttle water in from about a mile away. They also had to deal with temperatures that were well below freezing then. There is heavy damage to the home, but thankfully no one was injured. No word yet on what may have caused the fire.
Well, the active weather pattern looks to continue in another busy week here in the WYMT Weather Center. We take you to some of the cameras now. You'll notice the National Weather Service painting a beautiful sunset with still some of the snow in those higher elevations. Once again, your ridges were the locations that picked up that 1 to 2 inches for this weekend, while the valleys were more in the dusting to 1 like our forecast had. Notice the Mountain Parkway, Slade, Kentucky latest image still shows some snow on the ground there, and clear skies for tonight with a little bit of cloud cover working in, providing for partly cloudy conditions for this evening. Satellite radar showing across the state decent cloud cover in southern Illinois out into western Kentucky, but for us it is the temperatures now dropping quickly into the 20s as we head into that forecast. You could see there in Hazard and even into portions for the Big Sandy. Now the feels like the wind chills, they're down into the teens already. 11 degrees is what it feels like in Lexington, 20 degrees in Hazard, and you'll notice in Owensboro it is 15 degrees. Of course, our Twitter topics as we look ahead, we'll see a slight warm up with a cold snap midweek, and not 1, not 2, but Steve, we've already talked about it at 4. 3 snow chances, possibly a 4th to start next week. We'll break down everything we know on that first system coming up here around 5:44.
All right, Andrew, thank you. MLK Day in Washington has a different look this year amid a partial government shutdown. As our Washington Bureau's Peter Zampa reports, without government funding, visitors trying to honor Dr. King are not able to get the full experience.
A relative hush on the National Mall, where a memorial erected in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. stands tall.
It's pretty quiet here today, yes, but good, to enjoy here.
Kelly Carnacini is visiting from Miami. She landed in Washington smack dab in the middle of the partial government shutdown, meaning government-funded museums and parks are closed. In years past, ceremonies marked the special day with wreath lanes and high-profile speeches. This year, the public can still access Dr. King's memorial, but it isn't staffed by park rangers on his holiday.
I still think it's cool that people will come out and pay their respects and see something very important to the nation.
Josh Hidehouse and his mother Linda are also visiting from out of town. They can't visit the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which also honors MLK's legacy, because it, too, is closed. They made sure to stop at his unkempt memorial so they could still pay homage in the middle of political turmoil.
He tried very hard to bring everybody together, and I think we need to remember all those values and things he stood for. One of my favorite quotes is, "Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." I remember that almost daily.
Visitors will have to wait for the White House and Congress to come to some sort of funding agreement before these museums and memorials return to a sense of normalcy. In Washington, I'm Peter Zampa.
Senate Republicans say they plan to vote on a bill proposed by President Trump to end the 31-day partial government shutdown. The president has offered some concessions on immigration in exchange for billions in border wall funding. Democrats say they will negotiate, but only after the government is reopened. Interstate 75 in Rockcastle County is clear after a semi caught fire this morning. Here's a look at some photos from the Mount Vernon Fire Department. The fire happened near the 54-mile marker. At one point, crews had the right lane blocked to put out the fire. Dispatchers tell us the driver is okay. Authorities say 2 pilots are dead after a plane crashed into the snow-covered front yard of a rural Ohio home shortly after taking off from a private airfield. Investigators say initial reports indicate the plane had engine trouble Monday morning after departing from the airfield in Wayne County, roughly 50 miles south of Cleveland. The plane narrowly missed a home. 4 months from today, Kentuckians will head to the ballot box for the May primary. Last week, I sat down with one of the Democrats running for governor who calls Eastern Kentucky home, State Representative Rocky Adkins. WYMT's Will Puckett has a preview of tonight's new issues and answers.
He says he is an Eastern Kentuckian from the top of his head to the bottom of his toes.
One of the things that spurred me to get in this race is my love for Eastern Kentucky and all of Kentucky.
Rocky Adkins is from Elliott County and threw his hat in the governor's race back in November.
So I've seen it from every angle that you can see. I think I bring the really seasoned experience that's needed.
Adkins is one of several well-known Democratic candidates that will battle it out in the primary. But the House Minority Leader believes he can capture Republican votes if he gets past May.
The folks that serve in the Kentucky House that are on the Republican side would tell you that I've been fair. I've been somebody they could talk to. I've been somebody that's been seeking to bring about compromise.
While Adkins says he is willing to reach across party lines, he also says he will stand firm in what he believes in, including funding public schools.
If it's a policy decision that impacts public education in a negative way, like charter schools, I'm going to be vocal and I'm going to fight back about things that I don't think is good for Kentucky.
Adkins touches on his support for medical marijuana, his pro-life stance, and his view on releasing his tax returns.
Releasing my tax returns is not an issue, and I'm glad to do that, and I would call on everyone in this race to do the same on both sides.
And he adds, saying this election is not about President Trump, but more about the job Governor Matt Bevin has done. Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
You can catch the full issues and answers with Representative Rocky Adkins at 7 o'clock right here on WYMT. The other Democrats in the race so far are Attorney General Andy Beshear, former State Auditor Adam Edlin, and Jeff Young. The deadline to file is 1 week from tomorrow. Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes announced today that she is not running. All the candidates for governor are invited to appear on Issues and Answers. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, another lawmaker announces a run for president. A look at the Democratic field shaping up so far for 2020. And the International Monetary Fund cuts its 2019 estimate for global growth. We'll tell you why in our Money Watch report.
A local grocery store is helping federal employees in a big way. Coming up on Marianne Fletcher in Martin County, and I'll show you how.
When you see news happening, dial star 57 or text your news tip to 5757. Service is provided by Appalachian Wireless. Better service, bigger savings.
It's a mixed-up world when a baker tends your crops and the doctor fixes your car, or the farmer is your surgeon and the mechanic handles your banking. Don't get mixed up. Make the right choice and choose the experts. Kentucky River Community Care. Our clinicians are champions for your success in life. Help is available 24 hours a day. Just call 1-800-262-7491.
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
You might see it here. Here. Or here. You might see it pretty early on. You can definitely see it here. Oh, that's a good place too. It's something you have to see for yourself. And once you do, you'll see it anywhere you go.
The smartest time to buy a new Nissan is now. Save big on our tech-filled lineup during Nissan's Zero In on Savings event. Get 0 down payment, 0 due at signing, and 0 for your first month's payment. Save big on Nissan's latest tech, like Pro Pilot Assist. No brand received more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards for cars and trucks than Nissan. It's a new year and a new way to save.
Get the 2019 Sentra with 0 down payment, 0 due at signing, and 0 for your first month's payment.
This event ends soon.
Don't have time to go to the library? Well, the library can come to you with Perry County Public Library's Bookmobile. With over 3,000 items to choose from, there's something for everyone. Books, audiobooks, DVDs, and more. The Bookmobile offers reading programs year-round and other programs for all ages, including adults and children's daycare centers, as well as story time for preschool. For weekly Bookmobile routes or more information, call Terry Depth at 436-2475 or visit us online.
The WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The WYMT News app, powered by Appalachian Wireless.